If you're taking any prescription drug or any over-the-counter drug, so any drugs, any medications, this is something you want to pay attention to because these are taking a toll on your body, and you want to protect your organs and meridians because you want to safeguard them against the uh, unintended side effects of medications. So, just a quick note before we dive in. First, I want to say I am not anti-medications. They can be life-saving. They can turn things around for people. They can be essential for people. They can contribute to quality of life. So do not stop taking your meds. I've created this video because there are important things to know and understand and how medications impact your health from a Chinese medicine perspective. So even if you are not experiencing any side effects, or you read the cautions and contraindications and you go, well, this doesn't apply to me, it's important to know these things. So what we're going to do in this video is decode the drugs in order to minimize the impact on your body from a Chinese medicine perspective, and that will be beneficial for your health in the long term. So what you want to do is you want to look at the contraindications. So where, like look at the little info sheet, or usually there's like a general information sheet that comes with drugs, and then there's like a really fine print detailed one. So you could start with the, big overview. This is the more consumer friendly one because obviously you don't want to scare everyone off taking the drugs, right? Um, but you should also, do yourself a service and look at the fine print. So, what are they saying you should not be doing or not taking this drug if you have this problem? Or what are the potential side effects? Because this is going to point to, these are your clues to point to which organs and energy meridians are being affected by this drug. So, generally speaking, almost every drug is going to make your body work harder. So, your liver has to uh, metabolize it. It's got to be processed, and then, you urinate out whatever toxins or what produced or part of the drug out through your kidneys. So it's going to cause extra work for your kidneys and your liver, which is often why there's a lot of drugs that say, do not take if you have kidney issues or liver issues, because it's putting extra work on these organs. So you might go, well, what's the big deal, right? And one thing before we proceed, I want to say I'm not anti-medication. For some people, these are like, life enhancing or life saving, or, when you have something very acute, like some sort of infection that is overwhelming the body, like uh, antibiotics can save someone's life, or penicillin can save someone's life. So I'm not anti-medication. But the problem is that often these medications, they are, I think I have a slide for this. Did I make a slide for this? No, I didn't. Okay. Often these medications are addressing the symptoms only, and they're not addressing the root cause. Like, what's the root imbalance? So, yes, this is the body is causing this symptom, so then let's stop the body from doing this. That's not the root cause. The root cause, from a Chinese medicine perspective, is that there is an imbalance in the body, resulting in your body doing this thing, which is resulting in the symptoms. So the problem is that often the drug in, addressing the symptoms is actually worsening the imbalance, the underlying organ and energy meridian imbalance from a Chinese medicine perspective. So I'm going to use the example of this new drug that I heard about on the radio for hot flashes and night sweats. So this is, being promoted because it's not hormone replacement therapy. And I looked into it, and I don't barely understand this myself, but I'll read it out to you. The way it works is it blocks the neurokinin 3, the NK3 receptor, in the brain's thermoregulatory center to help reduce frequency and severity of hot flashes and night sweats. So if we were thinking, use a comparison to a house, let's say there's a problem with the temperature in the house, like a temp that's too hot. Well, what you're doing is you're hacking the thermostat so that let's turn the thermos, not exactly identical, but like this is stopping the thermostat uh, from causing the reaction, but it's kind of along the same lines, but you're really, let's just make it so the thermostat is reading the temperature 10 degrees higher. That way it won't kick in. The furnace won't kick in. But what if the problem is with the furnace? So I don't know why a furnace could be, running too hot or whatever, but let's pretend that could happen. And the problem is the furnace. So hacking the thermostat isn't fixing the problem. So the same thing is happening with hot flashes and night sweats. Um, from a Chinese medicine perspective, oh, wait, okay, we'll get to that. But first, I listed the warnings and side effects for this drug. So we're going to decode this drug. So some of the side effects include abdominal pain, diarrhea, insomnia, back pain, hot flashes, and elevated liver enzymes. Okay. And then some of the things that there were, greater risks and contraindications. Well, there's a risk of liver injury. And then they said, don't take this drug if you have cirrhosis, so liver issues, or kidney failure or impaired kidney function. So this means this drug is not suitable if somebody has problems with their kidney or liver. Now, decoding the side effects, this is also telling us more things from a Chinese medicine perspective. These symptoms can often be linked to certain organs in the body. So we see abdominal pain. We go, stomach. But then I see this one here, diarrhea. This is one of the classic symptoms of a spleen deficiency in Chinese medicine. So this is saying to me that this drug may also impact the spleen. I see insomnia. Insomnia is often a liver imbalance at the root of insomnia. So, but I see this is, impacting the liver. And indeed, this drug says, elevated liver enzymes. It actually is affecting the liver. Back pain. What's in the, back area are kidneys. And in Chinese medicine perspective, somebody who has like chronic lower back pain, that may be related to kidneys. So it could be related to the kidneys. Like this one's not as clear cut as the diarrhea and insomnia, but it's a potential. And then hot flashes. So you're taking a drug for hot flashes, and side effects maybe include hot flashes. Okay, so why is that happening? Why is this drug not taking care of the symptoms all the time? Well, it's because at the root of hot flashes and night sweats, from a Chinese medicine perspective, it is a kidney deficiency. So and that often involves a spleen deficiency and often involves a liver imbalance. So those three organs that are at the root of why somebody experiences hot flashes and night sweats. I'll give an example. Um, let's explain. Sorry, I gotta get a sip of water here. Let's explain the night sweats from a Chinese medicine perspective. Okay, this kind of addresses all three organs at once. When your body has night sweats, it means like heat is rising to the surface. Why would the heat rise to the surface? It's because it's not being balanced. So we have in our body yin and yang elements where yin is like cooling and water, yang is like fire and energy. This is a conceptual way to look at it because, like, obviously we don't literally have fire in our bodies. But if you think of it as energy, so the energy is hot. And the fire and water have a symbiotic relationship. They balance each other. So when the water is not sufficient, the fire gets out of control. So what happens to the fire? Fire rises up. The fire comes to the surface. There's the hot flashes. Why the night sweats? Well, let's look at the different organs. So when there's not enough water element, in this case, it would encompass blood. This can infect the liver. When there's not enough blood, the liver can start to there can be too much heat. And then this is what's causing, like we have the fire rising. Because the liver is very much linked to the blood. If there's a deficiency in the blood, then the liver is going to very likely will have a yin deficiency causing this fire to rise. That also explains insomnia because the fire is rising up to your head and it's disturbing your mind. That's why you can't sleep. Now, the sweating, one thing is that the spleen helps to control like the um, moisture in our body. It like holds in the fluids. So if somebody has a lot of nosebleeds, that could be a sign of a spleen deficiency. The spleen also is supposed to, manage the like if it can't manage the water properly, that's why there's the diarrhea. There's too much water going into the feces. So excessive sweating, one small component of that could also be related to spleen deficiency. But the key is that the spleen is supposed to also extract energy from food, and that energy is then used to help produce blood. So if the spleen is weak, not enough blood is being produced. Not enough blood being produced, we're gonna have no counterbalance to the fire. And then the kidneys are like, the supreme storage of your life force. So there's like this element called kidney jing and also kidney yin. Oftentimes, especially it affects women more because yin is represents female, yang represents masculine. So when there's a deficiency in yin, it will affect women more because women are naturally more yin. So the deficiency in the it starts, could start with the blood deficiency in the liver, could start with the spleen, whenever it's all interconnected, tied together, and then it leads to a kidney yin deficiency. So we have a pro imbalance with the kidney, we have an imbalance with the spleen, we have an imbalance with the liver combined, and somebody experiencing nights sweats and hot flashes. That's what's the root imbalance. And everything in the body is interconnected. So this is a more simplistic view from a TCM perspective. But I wanted to draw your attention to those because look at these side effects. I pointed out, the diarrhea is affecting the spleen, the insomnia, and we got the liver enzymes, liver injury affecting the liver, kidney failure affecting the kidneys. This very drug that makes the symptoms go away by acting on the thermal regulator in the brain is actually hard on the three organs that, from a Chinese medicine perspective, are at the root cause of why somebody has night sweats and why they have hot flashes. Which is why then it's not surprising that somebody has hot flashes because yeah, you're, trying to suppress the brain in, regulating the temperature, but the underlying imbalance is still there. And now you're taking a drug that's making it harder on these organs. So the heat is going to be even harder to be balanced due to the, yin deficiency and then more fire coming to the surface. So what you need to do is you need to strengthen and balance the affected organs. So this is what I'm saying about when you're taking drugs, you want to be mindful of what is the impact of these drugs on my body's organs and meridians. And, I studied Chinese medicine, which is why I can decode and go, hey, these symptoms are related to this. So for Soul Circle members, just, submit a question, ask me, let me know, say what the drug is, point me to the website for all that fine print. And then I can look through the symptoms and tell you, well, these symptoms are related to this organ, or this effect is related to that. These are the ones that you want to be mindful of. Um, and I'm also, this is something that, students who took my soul mastery course, these were the big clues I taught you about. I'm going to be teaching the course again. Let's see, what is it, October now? So for those of you who haven't taken the course, I will be offering it again, probably in about a month or so. So it's October 2025, looking at like November, December 2025, possibly starting in January 2026. But it's at the point now where I only teach the course maybe every 3 years now. And I may, with so many demands on my time, this actually might be the last time that I teach this course, the full system of traditional Chinese foot reflexology. But anyhow, you want to strengthen and balance the affected organs. So soul circle members, we have all those meridian massage techniques for, you have the reflexology that you've learned. And even in earlier in this Q&A tea time, I talked about ways to address like yin deficiency, things to do for the student who had the question about muscle cramps and how I related that to the spleen and the liver and the kidneys. So there are many ways that if you are taking medications, like I'm not saying go off your medication, but you want to be extra supportive of the organs that are being affected because these drugs are, making these organs work harder. And so, even if you have no side effects, they are making the organs work harder. So you want to counterbalance that. And I think that was pretty much what I had to say about decoding drugs. When you address the root imbalances, you strengthen and harmonize the body. Yes, it takes longer, but you're addressing the root imbalance. And then your body actually is stronger. You're not just masking symptoms. So that's to me, like I would feel for myself, that's the ultimate goal. Like I have had students who've learned the full system of Chinese reflexology where they start practicing and then they find they can start reducing their medication. Like I remember one student specifically, she was taking hormone replacement therapy and after, I think it was like I said, as I said, it's not like a quick fix. That's why the drugs are so attractive and why we may need to, take them to help get through like an interim kind of acute situation. But then long term, uh, I feel it's better to go for the natural because you're you're going to be healthier. You're going to live longer. You're going to have better quality of life. Um, and so, anyway, back to this student who was taking the hormone replacement therapy. She said, I think it was maybe over about a year later, she was saying that she was starting to notice symptoms that her dosage was too high. And she went to her doctor and to get this confirmed. And yeah, she would actually could reduce the amount of the level of hormone replacement therapy that she was taking because her body was coming back into balance. So that's the ultimate goal for why I teach what I teach. It isn't just to, make these symptoms go away. I want you to be healthier. I want you to be stronger. I want you to have quality of life because this is what's really, most important. It's something we take for granted until we don't have it. And then at that point, we're coming from it's harder to bring the body back into balance. It's better to work towards balance and even if you don't have any signs or symptoms uh keep keep the balance. That's much easier than correcting for the imbalance, but if there is an imbalance you can rebalance, focus on that, and that is going to pay you back in spades in the quality of life you have, in the the time that you have. And that's, nobody knows when our, time is up, right? But why not make that the best time that you can have, like to enjoy being in your body, to delight being in your body, to move with ease and freedom, to have like a mind that is sharp and clear. Like these are all things related to the strength and harmony of your body's organs and energy meridians. So if you would like to have vibrant health and vitality naturally, I have a couple of things that can support you in this journey. The first is my self-healing mastery program. This is an in-depth program where you learn traditional Chinese foot reflexology, one of the most powerful ways I know to heal yourself. And then there's also my Soul Circle, my online membership and community that helps you stay on track with your health. It is especially for people who are busy. If you have a tendency to put yourself last because you're caring for others, the Soul Circle brings you resources and teachings to help you stay accountable, but also to help you maintain your health and improve your health. And I curate it for the most efficient and effective techniques, ones that empower you to heal yourself and maintain your health, stay on track, and improve your health and vitality. So you can learn more at ChineseFootReflexology.com/learn for the in-depth self-healing mastery program. And for the Soul Circle, just go to the same website and it's /Soul Circle. So thank you for watching this video. I look forward to reconnecting with you again soon. Bye for now.